I'm thinking about it. All right, so it's one of my favorite units. So next class I'll give you a formula sheet because we'll be learning about different sequences and series. So today we're just doing the basic. Okay, eventually we'll have to know a lot more. There's arithmetic and there's geometric. Today we're doing arithmetic and our rule is a recursive rule. Okay, so I'll explain this to you. This guy here says a sub n, right? That word sub just comes from like a subscript. Okay? A sub n means the number of the term that you're looking for. Okay, you don't have to write this down or anything. A sub 1 would be the first number. Basically, whatever term I'm on is going to be there. Last, I have a sub n minus 1. This means your previous number. Okay? This is probably the most important. I'm not going to be saying a sub n minus 1. When I read an equation, I read it as if it was just previous number. So the more we do this, the more you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right, look at number 1. It tells you to find the first 5 terms in the sequence if a sub 1 equals 3 and your rule, or a sub n, equals 2 times a sub n minus 1 plus 4. I think that is all like mumble jumble. You don't need to know all that. What you need to know is a sub 1 means your first term. So this says find the first 5 terms in the sequence if your first term is 3 and your rule is 2 times the previous number plus 4. Okay? What I want you guys to do is put, you may not even have a highlighter, which is okay, but I want you to put this in parentheses. Put your a sub n minus 1 in parentheses. What this says is 2 times the previous number. Okay? That's what that whole little jumble thing looks like. Jeffrey, are you with me?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm watching you. Alright, what's my first term according to my directions? What's the first term? Alright, my first term is 3. For the sake of this lesson, guys, I want you to write exactly what I'm writing. I know there's shortcuts and you can do it in your head, but that's when more mistakes are made. Alright, so they told me to find the first 5. That's my first term. So for my second term, I need to use my rule. My rule is right here. My rule says 2 times the previous number plus 4. Well, what's the previous number? 3. So this 3 goes right in there. So what's 2 times 3? Plus 4? 10. Good. So now I know my first term was 3, my second term was 10. We have to go all the way to 5 terms. So let's do my third term. My rule is 2 times the previous number plus 4. What's my previous number? 10. I like to do this with mental math. You don't have to do what I do. Okay? If you want to type into your calculator to make sure you're getting the right answer, go for it. 2 times 10 is what?
20.
Plus 4.
24.
Good. Alright, so now I need my fourth term. My rule is 2 times my previous number, which was?
24.
So 2 times 24 plus 4 gives me what?
52.
Good. Alright, and then lastly, my 2 times the previous term plus 4. My previous term is 52. And so 2 times 52 plus 4?
108. 100.
108. All right. All this is lovely, but I want you to show me that you know what the first 5 terms are. I don't care if you rewrite it at the bottom. I don't care if you box up your answers. You can circle your answers. I just want to be able to find your answers quickly. Okay, so now we know my first 5 terms. We have 3, 10, 24, 52, and 108.
Yeah. forget what we're doing.
All right, number 2. Find the first 5 terms in the sequence. If your first term is 4, and your rule is 1/2 times the previous number minus 2. Does this make sense how I'm actually reading this off? You guys get how when it's A1 equals 4, that means your first term equals 4? All right, and then A sub n just means this is your rule. Your rule is 1/2 times the previous number minus 2. So let's get started. My first term is 4. They told me that. Let's find my second term. I'm going to go 1/2 times the previous term minus 2. Well, what's my previous term? 4. What's half of 4? 2. So you get what, Eric? Say 0? Okay. Alright, my third term. 1/2 times the previous term minus 2. My previous term was 0. What's half of 0? 0 minus 2? Negative 2. Alright, my fourth term is 1/2 times the previous term minus 2. My previous term was negative 2. Half of negative 2 is negative 1 minus 2. What do you get for your fourth term? Negative 1 minus 2? Negative 3. And then my fifth term is 1/2 times the previous term equals, what'd you get?
Negative 3.5.
Negative 3.5. Alright, so guys, here's what's important. I know that this is not that difficult, but one little mistake can alter everything that comes after because we're relying on our previous term. Okay, so our first 5 terms are 4, 0, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 3.5. So far, so good? Isaac, are you getting it? All right, number 3. Find the first 5 terms in the sequence. If your first term is 1/2, and your rule is negative 2 times my previous term plus 3. Okay? The most common mistake that I see here is that you guys keep that A in your equation and it just throws everything off. So my first term is 1/2. My second term, I have negative 2 times my previous term plus 3. What do you guys get when you have negative 2 times 1/2 plus 3? Oh, 2 different numbers. Which one is it? What's half of negative 2, Jeff? Half of negative 2 is negative 1 plus, negative 1 plus 3. You should get positive 2.
Yeah.
I thought you said 4.
I'm on the third one.
Oh, you mean the third term?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright, so negative 2 times my previous term. What'd you get for this one, Jeffrey?
Negative 1.
4, yep. Alright, my fourth term is negative 2 times the previous term plus 3. My previous term was negative 1. What do you guys get? What'd you get?
5.
5, yes. And then my fifth, we have negative 2 times my previous term plus 3. You should get negative 7. You also have to be careful that once you get your factors here, your terms, don't skip over this first term, okay? A kid in my fifth period was making that small mistake. He was putting the first term and then he was starting out with this equation. And it was just throwing everything off because all his numbers are wrong. Your first term is exactly what they have, so you can just rewrite it. Does that make sense? All right, so now I have number 4. My first term is 3. We need the first 5 terms. My rule says -2 times my previous term. Right, are you with me? Okay. Hold on. All right, so -2 times the previous term. What'd you get for the second term? Jeffrey?
-6.
Good. So my third term is -2 times -6. What do you get? 12. My fourth term is -2 times the previous term. What do you get? Negative or positive?
Negative.
And then my fifth term is -2 times the previous term.
48.
You get 48. So those are your first 5 terms. I want you guys to take 3 minutes and do 5 and 6 on your own. All right. My first term for number 5 was -8. Chenny, what did you get for your second term? What'd you get? Oh, you got 0? Good, good. All right. Your third term, 1/2 of your previous term plus 4. What'd you get for this one? Hold on, Isaac, it's Cheney's turn. What'd you get? 4? Good. Alright, for your fourth term, 1/2 times your previous term plus 4, what'd you get? You got 6? Good. And so for the last one, your fifth term, what did you get for your answer? 7. Did everyone get these answers like Chenny just got? Eric? Isaac? You get these answers?
Almost, I understand that.
Okay.
I have to.
Okay. All right, let's look at number 6. Find the first 5 terms determined by the following recursive formula. So we're starting. You can do this one. Your first term was -6, and your rule was the previous number minus 6. Okay, so for my second term, my previous number, my previous term was what? What'd you get for your answer? Okay, that's what everyone's saying. It's 36. Be careful, because this should say your previous term minus 6. It's not your previous term times -6. So I get what you guys are thinking, because you're thinking like -6 times like -6, but that's not in parentheses, so it's not being multiplied.
-12.
Hold on. So you should get -6 minus 6, which is -12. Okay? For your third term, you need our previous term minus 6. So what's -12 minus 6? Good, -18. Your fourth term, your previous term was -18. Minus 6 gives me what?
-24.
-24. And my fifth term, your previous term minus 6, so you should get -24, so you should get -30. So for your answers, you should get -6, -12, -18, -24, and -30. All good on 1 through 6? Are you guys understanding this pattern of what we're doing? Okay. Everyone pay attention to this one, okay? Don't work ahead or anything on this one. So it says if you drop a ball and let it bounce repeatedly, the bounce height becomes smaller with each bounce. Using an initial height of 300 inches, the formula for finding the rebound height can be modeled by, and then they listed it right here. So what this says is I am starting my first term with what?
300.
300, not 300. Okay? What is my recursive rule? Who knows how to say what this rule is right here? What's the whole, like, how do I say this?
Oh,
What's this a sub n minus 1? We just call that what?
uh,
Starts with a p. Guys, we've been doing it. I've been saying 1/2 times the previous term plus 4. What does a sub n minus 1 mean?
oh. It means,
I literally just said it. Previous term. Can you guys listen to me when I talk?
Yes.
Alright. Previous term divided by your term. Your term is also known as your number, which is why it's called n. Write that down. This says your previous term divided by your term. So your question asks you, what is the approximate rebound height for a sub 4? That just means your fourth term, okay? So let's walk through this. My first term was what, Isaac?
First term is 30.
300. Okay, I'm going to which term? Guys, say with me. I'm going to which term? I'm going from A1 to A4. That's what they're asking me for, right? All right, so my equation here is your previous term divided by your term. What's my previous term here? 300. All right, now this is what gets tricky. Whatever term is basically whatever number I'm on. Okay? Yes, good. It is 2. Because I'm on my second term. What's 300 divided by 2? 150. All right. Let's go to my third term. I need my previous term divided by my term. What's my previous term? 150 divided by 3. Good. Okay, do we understand why Eric is saying 3 now and not 2? We're not dividing by 2 every time. We are dividing by whatever term we are on. Is that clear? Okay. 150 divided by 3 gives me... You are out of control. All right, so my fourth term, what's my previous term? Don't say it. Divided by 4. What's 50 divided by 4? 12.5. So I'm stopping there because they asked for my fourth term. Which answer is the best answer?
13.
B, 13. Please believe that this is an SLO question, so if you were to divide everything by 2, I'm sure that's an answer choice. Okay? They won't to confuse you. Make sure that when they say term or number, it's matching whatever your number is right there. So 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, so on and so on. Does that make sense? All right, number 8. The formula for a recursive function is stated below. My first term is 4. My rule is 3 times my previous term minus 2. All right, they're asking me for all these terms up until 5. So on the side, I'm just going to do my work. My first term was 4. And my rule is 3 times the previous term minus 2. All right, my previous term was what? 4, so my answer is 10, because 3 times 4 is 12, minus 2, we get 10. My third term is 3 times the previous term minus 2. What'd you get for your answer? 28. Good. All right, my fourth term is 3 times the previous number minus 2. So 3 times 28 minus 2 is 82. And then my fifth term is 3 times the previous term minus 2. What do you get for your final answer? 244? All right, this is also an SOL question. What is my second term? 10, right? So we would have to just like drag and drop that into that box. All right, what goes next?
28.
No. Why does 28 not go next?
To the 4.
Right. Do you see, Isaac, how they skipped over the third term? They skipped over it to confuse you and make sure you're paying attention. They don't even care for the third term. They're asking for the fourth term, which is what?
82.
82. And what's my fifth term?
284.
244. Does this make sense? And does this show light on how we have to pay attention to what it's asking us?
Yeah.
All right, good. Last one, and we're done. Kinda. All right, the following sequence is given. My first term is 5. So my first term is 5. And my rule is 3 times the previous number minus 2. And they're asking me for the fourth term. So 3 times the previous number minus 2. What do you get for an answer? 3 times 5 minus 2? Guys.
Oh, 3 times 5 minus 2.
13, good. My third term is 3 times the previous term minus 2. Type this into your calculator, what do you get? 37. Be careful not put negative there. Right? It's a minus, so we're subtracting 2. We're not multiplying by a negative 2. And then your fourth term is 3 times your previous term minus 2. What did you guys get?
109.
So when they asked you what is the value of the fourth term in this sequence, you would type in 109 on your SOL. Does this make sense? It's a lot of writing, but okay. This is all of day 1. Okay? Once again, what I don't want you guys to do is say, oh my God, this is so easy. Let me just fly through it, because that's where you're going to make small mistakes. So you have plenty of time to start your homework and finish it, and I can check it for you. I've done it for both classes already. So use your time wisely, and you legit have the whole weekend to yourself. Any questions? All right.